Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on King Lear, and today we get to hear Edmund the Bastard kick off Act 1, Scene 2. And this is one of the more famous monologues from the play, and if you've ever sat in on Shakespearean auditions, you're going to hear 40,000 young men come in and do this speech, and I don't know if it's just because they like saying the word bastard over and over again or what, but I mean it's an interesting speech. It makes some interesting points. So anyway, just quick recap of what happened in Act 1. Scene 1, King Lear wants to retire with 100 knights, and he'll spend a month at one daughter's and a month at the other daughter's. He banished the third daughter, married her off to the King of France because the Duke of Burgundy didn't want to take her because she didn't come with the dowry anymore. So sent her away to France, sent Kent, banished Kent because Kent stood up for the youngest daughter, Cordelia, so Kent is also gone. And then King Lear went to have a drink with the Duke of Burgundy to kick off his retirement. And Lear's remaining daughters, Goneril and Regan, are very concerned with their father's erratic behavior, and so they're going to stay in touch and make sure that they're, as their dad is going back and forth between the two places, if he acts really weird, they will take a stand against him and they will have each other's backs. So that's Act 1, Scene 1. Blech. Act 1, Scene 2, we start to get into the secondary plot line of the play, and it kicks off with Edmund the Bastard having the stage to himself. Now, Edmund is the bastard son of Gloucester, who is one of King Lear's oldest and most trusted advisors. We learned in the first scene that Edmund exists. We also know that Gloucester has a legitimate son named Edgar. So why Shakespeare does that, where he gives people very similar names, Edmund and Edgar, I don't know. He does the same in Midsummer Night's Dream with Helena and Hermia and all that sort of stuff. I don't get it. Anyway, maybe there was some weird naming convention back then that I don't know about. But we have Edmund the Bastard. He is going to reference Edgar in this speech. So just for reference, Edgar is his brother, but Edgar is the legitimate son and heir to Gloucester's fortune. So anyway, Edmund kicks off Act 1, Scene 2 by saying, "Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me? For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base, when my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue? Why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardy, base, who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed go to the increasing a whole tribe of fops got tween asleep and wake? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate," fine word, legitimate, well, my legitimate. "If this letter speed and my intention thrive, Edmund the base shall to the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now gods, stand up for bastards." So you can probably see why young men like to do this speech. They get to talk about being bastards quite a bit, it is sort of fun to say. But it's an interesting piece. He's asking sort of why this law of he doesn't get to inherit anything from his father because his father wasn't married when he was born. He's like, this is ridiculous. My dad loves me just as much, and it was probably a more passionate begetting that begot me than begot my brother. So why we were gotten in the same way. It was just a matter of timing that I don't get to inherit anything, and that's a bunch of garbage. So he has a plan to unseat the legitimate brother Edgar so that he can inherit, or so he can become legitimized and inherit Gloucester's fortune. So think of him sort of as Ramsay Bolton, maybe. Anyway, so this letter that he referenced is a letter which we will find out the contents of tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow's monologue is the reading of the letter. But this is the beginning of his plan. And when he's done with this monologue, Gloucester comes in and he's like, oh my goodness, you know, Kent's been banished and Cordelia's off to France. Like, what is becoming of things? And Edmund makes a big show of being like, when he comes in to try to hide the letter, but in a very obvious way. And Gloucester's like, what's that you got there? And he's like, oh, it's nothing. I swear, it's nothing. And Gloucester, no. If it was nothing, you wouldn't be trying so hard to hide it from me. And he's like, no, sorry. It's a letter from Edgar that I haven't gotten to read over completely yet. So you shouldn't look at it. Don't even worry about it. And Gloucester's like, no. Show me the letter. Like, I need to see it. I need to read it. And the fact that you're being so weird about it means I need to read it. And Edmund is finally like, okay, and gives over the letter, which he wanted Gloucester to read the whole time because it's part of his plan, but he had to pretend like he didn't want to read him it, so that Gloucester would want to read it, if that makes sense. So anyway, yes, tomorrow we get to find out the contents of the letter so we can see exactly how the wheels are turning in Edmund the Bastard's head. I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.